Well, hello everybody. For those who clicked the bell, you're now aware. I'm holding a little wake for Shawn Armstrong, who I've just found out within the hour that he had passed actually last March. That's the best and closest time frame I can get, and I don't know what circumstances were that involved that happening to him. So I see there's a couple people here. Thank you. Maybe more people will watch this on the replay. But yes, Boston wins and Romeo's lover. We don't have Shawn anymore. He's with God. I think so anyway. So, Shawn, I loved you so much. And you were never trying to become a famous person, a celebrity. You were treated so badly by Dan Bell. And then he convinced a lot of people to treat you badly. And I know that was the reason why you stopped being a member on Patreon and that you stopped actually participating in a lot of the other stuff, including just live streams with us. So, Shawn came down here in 2021, in March again, and he visited the area. And he stayed at a skanky Red Roof Inn. He brought his dog, Lexi, as he always did, and he went to Red Roof Inns because they always allow your pet. No pet policy, you have to pay a pet fee. It was accepted. Now, Red Roof Inns are a little rough usually. Remember that, Taz? Yep. So we did a live broadcast, a live stream for my then show called ADR Live with Rick, which will now be Out with Rick if I ever do live dirty motel rooms. As I promised Dan that I would not do otherwise before we had our sad breakup. And I'm certainly not going to change that now. Shawn was a good man. He was a loving man. Lots of friends. And I'm looking back in his page on Facebook, it's still there, and showing what he posted in the years in the past. And it was always him traveling to a nice place and a photo with him and his dog, or just his dog. He was also a registered nurse and he was specialized in cardiac catheterization. He's the guy, not a doctor, he's the guy that would save your life if you went to Sinai Hospital in Baltimore. The last time I heard from him was a reply in late January of 2022. So I mentioned for a while that I hadn't heard from him when people asked about him, and I stopped doing so because I didn't want to bring it up and we all didn't know, and I kind of feared something bad, but I thought he had been maybe put in jail for drunk driving. So unfortunately, Shawn did have a weakness. Dan was right about it. He pegged him as an alcoholic, and yes, I guess he was. But having an addiction doesn't make you a bad person. And someone, like I just said, Dan, who called him a drunk, he should look at his own pointer and admit his own addictions: food, cigarettes, but he stopped; alcohol, but he stopped; food, he didn't stop. So, not to cut down on him, but to point out that we all have weaknesses. Here's mine. I get it through the state of Maryland, it makes it medical marijuana, but it's still smoking weed, and smoking weed in a lot of parts of the country is still not allowed unless you have some kind of a certification like I do. In his honor, I'm lighting up. Real smooth. I meant the way I lit this, but why did I cough? Because it makes you cough when you inhale smoke. Really, believe it or not. And I'm really thanking you guys for having come on here. You got 51 people already here, and I know a good number of you never saw one moment of him on video. But because you trust me, you like me, you're basically supporting me. And then there are fans on here as well. Jimmy Rick just joined us, Jennifer, and Michaela, and Boston Wins. I'm not sure, maybe Sydney did. I know Dalton did. Dan Wilson, yes. JetBlue, I think. Romeo's Lover, yes. Because he was with me at the very beginning. I did live streams to get myself up to the number of viewer hours to become monetized. I would go see live local bands, especially at the little hole in the wall bar that is where he actually met me. It was called the Holiday House, and it was on Harford, Harford Road, not Hart, like Hart. Harford Road in Hamilton, a neighborhood in Baltimore. So it's all Baltimore City, a major artery of a road north and south. And it just recently had its last live bands and music. It was earlier in this summer of 22. And the place is no longer going to be there for us, the place where I met Shawn. And I had a get together when I first wanted to celebrate when I was monetized. He was there again. There was a young lady he was seeing who has discovered that she felt like it was someone else trapped in the wrong body. She felt like she was a guy, not a gal. And he was still her friend. He didn't judge her. He let her be who she was. And now how he is. And I hope that he is happy. He was Shawn's friend too. Well, it's hard when you lose anybody. But when you lose a close friend, it really is sad. It's equal to losing almost any other family member. Maybe your mother and father, with exception. You maybe would hurt losing them more. It turned out for me that my youngest sibling, my sister, when she developed cancer and died, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she was only 50 years old back in 2015. That was my hardest. That always will be my hardest. And I loved her a lot. She had developmental disabilities with head educationally. She could do simple tasks fairly well, but read and write was never her forte, except for at a very minimal level. And then she developed schizophrenia at age 16. So then she had both diseases, and that was her life. Thank you, Sydney and Waggy Bear. Thank you all. A little bit of tears here. I got to keep the glasses on though, because I can't read otherwise. Thank you for the hugs. Arcel, thank you very much. Maxwell, I'm sorry for you too. So if you notice, the damn orientation is portrait. I didn't want it to be portrait. I don't know how I'm going to get past this with live streams. But thank you again, YouTube, for improving, not your systems. And you know I am a live streamer type of a creator. A little more, probably around 55-60%, 40% is video. And I need my videos live to be oriented in landscape. So the screen is horizontal, not vertically oriented. And your new system is so good, I can't even select what I want. I'm stuck with this. So how is this going to work? And then everybody will have a reduced picture like it's one of the shorts. Thank you, YouTube. So again, I don't know how he died. I thought he was a fairly healthy person myself. Who knows? Was it maybe a car crash? That's how I'm thinking. It was something like that. That unfortunately he was drinking. Under the influence of the drinking, he didn't control a vehicle. He was driving. And of course, again, it could have been a health issue. It could have been his liver damaged by heavy alcohol consumption, even by his age. I think he was 36 years old, at most 37. A baby. A lot of you guys are that age or younger even. I don't think that you're ready to pass yet either. I know I'm not. Thank you, the Explorers. Thank you all for even coming on here to see why was Rick coming on live. There has to be something. And finding out someone you care about died is pretty much a something, especially when they're connected to my YouTube family here. Just as I would do if I had one of you all suddenly pass away and I was given word. I'd have a wake for any of you, because you're all worthy of being remembered, because you're all good people. And how do I know that? Because I attract you. And I try to be as good a person as I can. So if I'm attracting you, I have to believe that's what you like to emulate. Being a fellow good people, a good neighbor, a friend to those who you care about. Thank you, Liam. I'm not perfect. Come on, man. I'm not perfect. Who is? No one. If you try to do better all the time, even when you make a mistake, and you try to fix it, that makes you someone much different than another who couldn't give a crap. and just keeps on doing the same old thing. They don't even realize they're doing it, maybe. Self awareness, checking yourself, re-evaluating yourself. You know, the 12-step method systems talk about that in the more advanced steps. Making amends, things like that. Now, Shawn, you've you've really touched people's hearts, and I'm so sorry you're gone. But how about doing an EVP session with me? Maybe you can tell us some jokes or something. So, where would I go to get him to channel? I know. Maybe I can go back to that Red Roof Inn where we did that ADR live with Rick. I'd see if his spirit went back there just to interact with us. Would that be, that would be crazy, yeah. If there was a way we could actually prove that happened, hell, we would all be witnessing something that no one else has been able to capture.
Have you heard from the hospital?
I did get the call. I talked to the nurse, went over everything.
What time do you need to be there?
12:45.
Okay.
The procedure's at 3:45. Oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow I have surgery.
Well, I have another thing. Have you heard back from the accountants?
No.
You need to call them.
Okay.
Sorry. Who are you talking to? Should I say hi?
I'm doing a live stream wake.
What is a live stream? Oh,
Yes, for Shawn.
for Shawn. We don't even know what happened.
Well, that's the whole point. We don't know what happened. So Darlene's here, folks, and as I'm oriented in a weird manner, I set everything up to hold my phone like I wanted to be held, but I didn't change the positioning. So it's just sitting on a tripod, but doesn't have anything holding it. So a breeze will take this off.
Yeah, why didn't you hook it in there?
When I started, I thought I was going to be able to just put it in this way. This thing will not let me set up a live stream with it being in the landscape mode.
That's your wonderful YouTube.
Yes, that is. So we love them so much. All right, Daly. Shawn is in, for example, Rick's Rockin' New Year's Eve in 2021. Under my, these are playlists, so that's under, I think, Rick's live streams, that one actually, my New Year's Eve episodes. And then anything under ADR Live with Rick right now, it's still there. I'm going to be migrating everything. The one I did with Shawn at a Red Roof Inn, and it's also the one where we found the exploding coffee pot. Does anybody remember that? Oh, the way I came to find it is my wife found it. I don't know what happened, but somehow something popped up on her phone as someone had.
True story. I was just looking at my Facebook and I was looking at friends requests. And Shawn was on there.
Right,
Very old.
right.
And that's when I tapped it. That's when I could see his page.
Okay, so
And the different comments.
Shawn had invited her to be a friend, and she never enacted it. So she pushed the button to enact it, and all of a sudden these two messages, which I posted in the channel.
It's been about a year.
Yeah. So under community, where I posted this first before the live stream, is a two image files posted, and 2 photographs of Shawn's lovely face. And the one is a message from someone who he worked with, and the other is a message from someone who he used to date, a lady. And so that's how. Oopsie oopsie, I don't know where or why or how a young guy like Shawn could die, but unfortunately the when is approximately a year ago, March. And just a shock. Scottish Ray, hello. Thank you very much for popping on. Yes. So Shawn Armstrong, or Shawn Arm as he would do in the chat, is in another dimension, folks. And those who've been here for a while, they're aware. Those popping on, maybe not yet. Yeah, in the New Year's Eve edition, it was actually Dan Bell, myself, and Shawn. Talking with Dan after that event. Dan was basically very unhappy about ever even being with him that night. That he labeled him as just a drunk. He was not very tolerant. You know, when you are yourself a drunk at times, and you're not drunk, but someone else is, and you can't be tolerant of their being a little drunk, but you were there before yourself, that's bullshit, Dan. Bullshit. And then, just like you did with me after you lied to everybody in December, you did it to him. Let's see what I can say to people, because everybody listens to every word I say and they believe everything I say. So I'm all powerful, Dan Bell, and this is what it is. And then he makes you all think the worst of the person. He's done it multiple times. I was just another example. Someone who he was lucky to have as a friend, because he was not a giver. He was a taker. I gave love to him and supported him. And I wasn't too happy about him standoffishly way talking about how terrible Shawn was. So, Shawn Armstrong, a licensed registered nurse specialized in cardiac catheterization, worked at Sinai Hospital for about 5-6 years at that point. He was a travel nurse prior to COVID. After COVID hit, he was already working as a travel nurse locally at Sinai Hospital of Baltimore. Local to me in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm sorry if I'm leading you astray, because that's confusing. It's not here. And like I said before, the people weren't on here. He was one of the first people who, before I even was a creator, met me at a place where I was doing a live stream. And did stupid thing with him that night. But thankfully it was all deleted from sight quick enough, so that was fine. Yeah, I'm sorry about the whole situation as far as what I've hinted regarding Dan Bell. I've already apologized. All he has to do is come do the same to me, and then maybe we can talk all this shit through. I'd already told you once, but last May, I had told Dan that I was done with the bullshit hype of doing YouTube, and I was just going to enjoy it. I wasn't going to worry about fame. I wasn't worrying about how many subscribers I don't have. I was just going to enjoy it and create videos all to enjoy it with hopefully those who view it. Either he didn't remember or he conveniently forgot. On Christmas Eve, he was distraught, overwhelmed with the depression that he'd been suffering with for about a year and a half at that point. And he was slowly getting better. In fact, we had a summer where we did a bunch of podcasts together. We got along. We did a trip to the eastern shore of Maryland. We had a great time. But something happened, I guess, over the fall. I told him all of this, and the only thing I asked for in return was for him to stop constantly insulting me, deliberately trying to embarrass me, picking fights with me, even when he had Carpetbagger as a guest at his apartment in the Belvedere, contacts me, disturbs me from a little get together I was at, insists I get on, do a podcast with the Carpetbagger and him. Okay, so I stop everything, I leave, I get set up, I come on, ready to do a sound check. He's already started the broadcast. Couldn't even wait for me to come. And then during the podcast, within the first 30 minutes, picks fights with me, says a bunch of nasty stuff about me, and I said, look, if this is what you're going to do, I'm not going to participate. And I hung up on him. I then met the Carpetbagger in 2022, and he asked about the whole thing, and he was really uncomfortable when Dan did this. When Dan did that, he lost a little bit of respect too. And guess who was very supportive and even helpful to the Carpetbagger when he first got off the ground on YouTube? It was Dan Bell. Just like he did with me. Treated me very kindly in the beginning. Some people have commented to me that he's jealous of me. Maybe that's a resentment of some type that he can't get rid of. I resent one thing from him, that he couldn't keep his cool and talk with me after that little stupid thing last Christmas Eve. I have a right to make a comment on my own channel, don't I? And I have a right to call out something when it's evil, don't I? And that's what I did. Nancy, I'm sorry to tell you, Nancy, he passed away. Shawn passed away about a year ago. Approximately really early, middle March is the best I can guess. Because I was looking at one comment about March 24th, 2022. And the person wrote, it took me a week to be able to put together words to tell you how much I was hurt and how much I loved you, etc. It's on the channel under community. You all can look at it. Remember him, right, Nancy? Yep. First year of Cocktail Hour with Rick. It was people like Nancy, some of the ones I already mentioned, and Shawn were regulars on the Cocktail Hour. I believe this is making this wake official. I think I've been given an alcoholic beverage.
You've been given one to taste.
Hey, Sydney Cat, thank you so much, but I'm not even going to monetize this. But thank you very much. But anybody else, please don't give me a tip. There is no need. Too bad, since YouTube, when you give to YouTube, I'm going to let it all out. What the hell? They take more than 30% of the money and give me the rest. But it's usually 60 to 65%. Yeah. So we used to say, well, then give to our
Don't go in.
personal PayPal. But that doesn't feel good. If people want to donate, I'd like them to just donate on the show. A few people, occasionally, they just send some money through on our private PayPal as a gift. And we thank anybody that does that. But what I've said for a long time is if you want to support us also, beside watching us, giving us a thumbs up, letting other people know about the channel, sharing it, that is what I go for. That's what the most important thing is. Now, last thing would be go to our store and buy a cheap item, ricksarahstar.com. And you might enjoy it.
Yes, Steve, we just now found out.
Steve Seaboat God, yep. I just found out today, Steve. That's why I did this. Darlene found out accidentally. She looked at her phone and it was a friend request from Shawn Armstrong that she had never seen. And she clicked it to join his uh, Facebook page. And when she did, a couple of messages popped open. And I've copied them and given them to you guys to read on the channel. We don't know what he died from.
No, we think it was about a year ago.
We think it's about a year ago, March, second week of March, somewhere in there. Don't know why. Yeah, it was probably an old one, Christopher. Uh, I don't know what I put this under, but I did a shortened version of the exploding coffee pot, and then also did a ADR live with Rick back in March of 2021. Shawn's on that. He's on Rick's Rockin' New Year's 2021, which was end of December of 2020. Hey, Dave Blount, how you doing? Thank you for coming on, Dave. This is a wake for Shawn Armstrong. Yes, his presence was that he was just a loving, friendly guy. My mother liked him. My wife liked him. Uh, I'm not sure what time, but when he drank a little too much, he agreed not to drive home. We put him up at the house. He had he had made the bed, and everything was all straightened on the bed. And then he had let himself out because he had to get to work, so he had to go home, just get straight, feed the dog, let it out. So, yeah.
I did put a message out there on one of the comments explaining who I was, and I just found out from looking at the stuff that he had passed, and I asked if anyone could let me know what happened. But who knows if anybody will.
Yeah,
respond.
and I posted a message on the comments that I could comment on with photos of him on his channel. And I did it on several different ones, hoping people might see a message notification coming from his Facebook and then see my comment. You ever see this?
I'm trying to find something that has less alcohol that I still like, and those ones that are with fizzy water or whatever.
The seltzer and all that
Yeah,
jazz.
I don't like seltzer.
Yeah. 13% alcohol by volume. And does it tell you the ingredients on here?
I didn't look that closely. It's supposed to be made with premium vodka.
Premium spirits and real fruit juice. But that's what Darlene gave me a sip of. And I think it tasted very
I
good.
added 2 sweeteners.
Did you? Tasted excellent.
Oh, I have to
Time
check
goes
that out.
by.
Let's
Look,
see.
I used to be young when I started this YouTube stuff back in 2008, 2009 in the old Movie Dan channel.
Yeah, Joe, he was he was with us one New Year's Eve.
Yep.
He was with us a couple times, and he did eat with us most times he was there.
Yes, Dan and he were with us, and the three of us were on camera doing the live Rick's Rockin' New Year's Eve. So I've done it 2 years or 3 years. I don't know. But every time I do it,
Depends on where you are, Hunter.
I get
In
a
safe place,
I get a
yes.
message blocked or a copyright strike that blocked the view of the music, and mostly the blocks came from Russia. It was copyrighted, or the rights were owned by somebody, some group in Russia. I don't believe they do, but it was good stuff too. Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah,
and
we can't do that again. That was
it seems like it's really
we can do New Year's, but you can't do the music stuff. It
with
wasn't
music
worth
stuff.
it.
It just doesn't seem to go. Now there is now YouTube has music that they will allow you to use in your projects. So maybe I could just play that kind of music. What do you think? Maybe I'll try that.
AJ, we just found out that Shawn passed probably about a year ago, but we don't have any details.
Scottish Ray, thank you for hopping on. God bless.
Oh, that's right, Joel. That coffee maker, that was in his room.
So I can do it on Twitch, Steve, and that can play music there. Maybe just for that one. And
It says it's much more lax than YouTube.
it's much more lax, but supposedly you make money on Twitch too. I don't understand Twitch at all. I do know my ex son-in-law made money playing games, Warcraft, things like that. He was real good at it, and people watched him on Twitch, and I guess they gave him tips, maybe.
Yeah, we don't need to get into
Grostradamus says Twitch is pretty cool. Well, maybe I have to look at this. Thank you, AJ Vintage. Yes, you're another one. You were there early on, and I thought you might have seen Shawn on one of our cocktail hour
that.
with
I'm
Rick.
sure she did.
No idea what happened. I think at one time we were goofing around and we were trying to get him hooked up with a lady, and
always
I was
trying to
always
do
trying
that.
to do that when he was on lives. And AJ may remember that.
That's cool, Steve.
He'd have been lucky to get a date with you, AJ. Yes. He would have been very lucky. Maybe he would have come to visit Florida again if that could have been set up. Whatever. You had to have been, of course, interested. I don't know how you felt. You had a crush on him? Well, there you go.
What
See
don't
that
you
shit?
remember?
I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't quite sure. But I thought that she favored him a little. So you did.
Okay, Steve, I'll let Rick know.
Vinyl Junkies. Okay. Try to help remember that. We'll look on Twitch at Vinyl Junkies. Wait a minute, I can do it.
I'll do a screenshot.
That's what I'm going to do.
I just did.
All right,
You
well, I
shouldn't
did
touch
it.
your phone.
I just did a screenshot. I got it.
Don't touch your phone.
So, Steve, how do you like the orientation of this video?
First one,
YouTube has changed how you go live. And if I'm going to still try to go live using my cell phone here, my iPhone, it looks like they're going to make me have it oriented like this. So it's going to force me back onto my Mac and to use OBS and create a stream and go through all that where it's it's
Steve,
unthinkable
he
that
has CRS.
I can't remember ship. I don't understand technology. I am teched out. When they went to the newest 10 and even 7 and 8, okay, I'm done. I don't know how to do any more operating systems. I'm sorry. And then I went to Mac, and I'm like, I don't know anything about this. So I was given a MacBook, 2020 MacBook, and it was in around that same time. And some of you know it was obtained by Dan for me to do podcasts and also so I could do videos. He was supportive, and has done that with a few other people, even giving a gift as nice as that to help them get started. So, and I certainly recognize that, and I'm always will remember and be appreciative for that act by Dan. And Arcel, you knew him from the beginning.
Yep.
Yes, Mr. Doggy Dog is here. Yes, much too early.
Well, that's good, Romeo's lover. She
Yeah.
says she almost full screen, but she's on her iPad.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at this one playback, and maybe I'm wrong about the whole thing, and it's only my view. Oh, is that what it looks like? Oh my God, that's what it looks like for everybody on a phone.
Well, that's what it looks like
Look,
to me. I
let
don't
me
know
have
about
it.
everybody. Don't mess it up. I don't like it when you touch my phone.
Is this how it looks for all of you? Like a stupid short with the big cropping on the sides? Yeah, isn't this attractive? I hate that. I mean, I hate being in that kind of orientation when I'm trying to create a video. So this is pretty much a
What
done
happens
deal.
if you rotate it?
It'll tell me that the orientation's wrong. And it might even mess
as
up.
you're ongoing?
It might even mess up the whole stream. What does it look like now?
You know I'm always a couple seconds behind. You're turning it, you're turning it, you're turning it. Now you're just on your side.
Ha! Look at that. Even worse. So this is sucks.
You can go full stream, but you lose the chat, because that's what I did when I first came in.
Nope, I can't rotate it. It's locked. And it's locked in this position when you
Hey,
try to
Bourbon
start
Cat.
the stream. Right from there. There's oily stuff in the end of my nares. It's a medical treatment to prep before surgery. I get surgery tomorrow. Still boxed in, Rick? I know. Well, that's the way it is. I'm boxed in. I'm still on video. You still see me. I'm still broadcasting. I'm still live.
Is your auto lock on? I doubt it, because he always does
No,
landscape.
auto lock is not on. I checked that after the first attempt to go live. Is everything okay right now? One person said that they thought the stream stopped.
No, it looks okay to me.
Okay. It went sideways. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, Bourbon Cat, we just found out that Shawn passed about a year ago.
Yeah.
Don't know how or
Don't
anything
we have
like
no
that.
understanding of what did happen to Shawn. We just know that he is gone from us. And that's why I'm doing a wake for him. I thought that it would be something that many of you may appreciate, that I'd stop and pay a little tribute
He would
to
like
a
it too,
good
because he
guy.
was a little bit of a ham.
He was a little hammy, but you know,
You know, I
also
haven't
he
seen
just
one,
liked to have
AJ.
fun. I guess if you looked back in the Baltimore Sun, which is local paper online, you could look at it, baltimoresun.com, and maybe look at the obituary from about March, say the
Well,
7th
I'm
forward.
sitting in the hospital tomorrow. Maybe I'll try that. I'm going to be at the hospital for about 10 hours tomorrow. Rick will be there overnight for several nights.
I know.
That's
So,
right, AJ.
so here's the deal. Tomorrow at about 3:45 p.m., the doctor will make a couple of incisions and use a device made by
Da Vinci.
the Da Vinci Company. They make robotic medical equipment. And he'll take a device and it'll be used to snake around my lung,
Through the ribs.
my heart, and below my breastbone, right about here, center of my chest. So it's going to be going from here all the way in there. It's about 6, 7, 8 inches this way, probably about 10
I'll
inches
check that out, Romeo's lover.
directly. So 10-inch movement in through the body. Please don't puncture my lung. Please don't put a hole in my heart. So they can get this malfunctioning gland that is now growing a tumor, and it has been for some time. It causes my body to take calcium out of my bones and gives me kidney stones. So this is the magic that this is what's been happening to me for 2 decades. 2 decades. Think about that. 20 years having kidney stones several times a year.
Well,
And
it wasn't several times a year until the past.
couple of years.
Yeah.
I was under control for about 2 or 3 years by the last urologist I went to in Baltimore. But he is good because he has the best way to go and get the stones.
We found
And
that
he's
out
the
hard
one
way.
who has the medical certification, and he is given credit for the development of this technique to go into the kidney directly and then remove the kidney stones. Who are you talking to, Jimmy Rick? Have I tried semen?
No.
I usually produce that instead. I need a charge. Can you grab the one that you had ready?
Yes, that's what I'm going
All right.
after.
I got to plug in. My battery is getting low on the phone. Yeah, they are. I've talked to women who have said that to me.
Believe it.
Oh, yeah, you've had a child?
What?
The pain in childbirth
No, I don't know.
is worse. I mean, kidney stones are worse
I've
than
heard
giving
that,
birth.
but I can't tell you about either.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
never done either.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to. Right?
Yep. You know, his blood calcium is way too high, Mr. Doggy Dog. That's how we started to figure this thing out.
Yep. It's so high because
As of Friday,
it's being removed.
Anita and her husband were both okay. Boston Winds, he was from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where he was originally. He
originally,
did some visiting nurse.
he travel
but
nurse
he was
for-
back in Baltimore for a couple years.
yeah, he was back in Baltimore around the year 2020, 2019 maybe, because when COVID hit and things were shut down, he was given an ultimatum to either stay or they were going to drop him as a travel nurse, but he'd have to become a in-house employee, so he decided to. So he was a employee of Sinai Hospital of Baltimore, and he was in cardiology. He was a specialized nurse. He actually did cardiac catheterization. Yeah, pain's no good. I'd like to stop all this unnecessary pain. So,
Bourbon Cat today don't know how I wound up on his Facebook page because
no, I don't. I didn't know it happened
and I
until
saw a comment
3 hours ago.
that very clearly stated that he had passed, and I asked someone to give me some more information, but I don't know if that will happen.
You may want to get these and do that.
Wait, though.
We have the mailman coming in. Her car is right there, so we're going to help the mailman out. And we had things to send out, including a couple of free gifts to people who have enjoyed Cocktail Hour with Rick with us. And they sent us their name and their address so we could send them back the gift. Yeah, I know that
Look,
nursing has been a trouble for a while.
you see who it's addressed to? Can you read it?
It's written to the Serra family, including Bo.
I think it's spelled correctly.
No, it's Beau again.
Still.
You think it's a card?
It's from the Taylors, Rick.
Oh. The who? Thank you, Megadeth. Condolences for Shawn, definitely, but oh well. Appreciate the support. I'll buy tissues for myself to wipe away all the tears and the greasy looking stuff coming out of my nose.
Ew.
It's a medical
Prep.
for your nostrils to help prevent
Wanna
disease
get up?
when you go into a hospital. It's supposed to help control you from being infected, which is good. Baltimore is its own jurisdiction, Romeo. In Maryland, we have 24 distinct jurisdictions. The one of them is Baltimore City, and the rest are the counties. So Baltimore is. There is a Baltimore County, and it circumnavigates the city of Baltimore.
Comatose, if you send us an email, Rick will put it up on the channel so any prayer warriors can send some her
Yes,
way.
I'm sorry she's dealing with this. She has chemo going on in her third round. So what you do is you send us email to rick.adr@aol.com. I think Darlene might post this for you guys. Or for this one fan, Comatose Hero. And you just got a gift. Very good. You're welcome. I'm glad you like that. So we're happy to share this notice under the community tab on my channel page. That's where you can look at videos, etc., live community. It's a tab that you can slide. It's a pull down menu, just like Windows. We all know this now, right?
He's had too many lately, Cowgirl. Have you had many surgeries?
Yes, I had a surgery on March 23rd.
And
You know,
the end of January.
Yes, and here is it. See the spot right there?
Yeah, you know what? It's healing very well.
It's
now.
healing. It got to the point though, I
She's-
was having trouble swallowing some of my medications and supplements, and they were getting stuck in my throat.
No, honey. Oh, Mom's doing pretty well with the
Yeah,
radiation
she went through number 6.
today.
So we have 6 down, and
We have a friend in the park who's taking her tomorrow.
we got 19 to go.
Because of your surgery.
Or 18 to go. So that's great. This lady is in the park and has known Mom for some years now. She has her own personal problems. Her husband's in a care facility, and but she's still going to give Mom her time to do this. Very nice of her to allow that to happen. Thank you, the cranky bunny. Appreciate that. It's um, it's tough when you lose people that you care so much about, that you love. Niall, good to see you on here. It's been a couple of moments, but glad. Niall again, another person who got to know Shawn from the channel, and when Shawn came over, and we do this pretty much anytime we have somebody come over and join us for the cocktail hour with Rick, like Steve Seaboat and his wife Massey that have been with us, and we have dinner and we share dinner with the guests before we broadcast. So it's just a little thank you for those people who come here to be with us for a live.
Thanks, Heidi.
Now, there's a Nick No and his wife, actually named Heidi, who live very close to me. I don't know what the status will be this Friday because I may still be in the hospital or I may just be discharged on Friday late afternoon. So I don't know what to tell you about cocktail hour with Rick until Friday, and then I'll let you know if we're going to punt for maybe doing it on Saturday or something else, okay? But beyond that, next Friday, we're going to be here. Next Friday after that, we're going to be here. So maybe I can get Nick and his wife. If you are still here on here, you've been invited. I'll have to do it again. If you're gone, maybe you're gone. Don't see Nick posting again. Oh well. I'm a crazy person, but letting people that I've never met come to my home, I've done that. Done that several times, and so far nobody has actually tried to kill me. They enjoy meeting me. Who would known? Who would have known that I'm actually not someone people want to kill, but they actually may want to hug? Rotating is only safe for planets and tires. Yes, a lot of other celestial bodies, they need that rotation thing. And of course, we spin like a record on a turntable because the Earth is flat. And if you go past the ice wall on the edge of the circle, you fall over the edge to your doom. Yes, remember that. For all the flat earthers out there, I love you, but
As far as we know, K1ish.
as far as I know,
The
the
thing is, remember,
world is round.
obituaries only show up in the newspaper if the family pays for it.
Yeah.
They're not free.
They're not free.
And they're not cheap.
And they're not. We've done it, and it's a good cost.
Yeah, the parathyroid mountain too.
So the organ, the gland that's causing my stones is called a parathyroid. I don't know why it was named that. It's not related to the thyroid gland.
Yeah, we know, Megan.
It does different things. They're both glands, and they affect our metabolism. But the parathyroid gland, full screen is box, not chat view. I don't know what to tell you. But this is the way it will appear using the new YouTube live stream technique via your cell phone. This is what it's going to look like. And I'm really saddened that I'm going to have to go through more work to get this to not be the case for my broadcasts. I'm going to have to do some boning up, and I'm not talking about sex, and figuring out what the change actually means. But yes, K1ish, I'm sorry also. We've lost Shawn Armstrong. He has passed away. probably age 36 or 37. It was a year ago, March. Somewhere,
I
I would
think Shawn had
guess.
a brother, but we have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, his mother and father were alive. So around March 17th is my best guess. So if anybody's trying to do a search, try March
Oh,
17th.
I looked in Baltimore Sun of Bits. He wasn't in there.
So family didn't do one. I can understand why. Just don't want to even let people know that they lost their son. My mother feels the same way, that she has buried two daughters, but we did post a obit for both of them, but both very hard to take when you bury your child. But you know, since mom's living forever, it might happen. She's 93, going to be 94 in December.
These are
Yeah,
really good.
K1, it just happened to be a break. Well, I didn't think I was going to get as many people live as are on here. So Heidi Berghoff and let me name a few other people that I'm happy to have seen. Niall Kennedy joined this time. Uh, Cranky Bunny is here. Comatose Hero.
Well,
Gerstradamus.
Loopsy, oopsie. Bo has a doctor's appointment on Wednesday
And
because Saturday
Hunter
he was
Moss,
having problems
Junker
going
Man.
up steps. So he's gotten better,
AJ Vintage.
not back
Gary
to normal.
Nullenvoid.
So he has a doctor's
Steve
appointment.
Seabode. Arsel. Tracy Bainter. Good to have you here. Tone Mountain. Of course, Jimmy Rick. Phantom. Megadeth Gigantor. AJ Vintage. Apple Tree. I named some of you earlier, like Dan Wilson. So, you just coming on and being with me as I do this, you blessed me today. Thank you very much, and my wife, because we both cared a lot about Shawn. We didn't know him real long, or from many, many encounters, but the ones we had showed us enough to have a warm feeling and a love for him.
Oh, that's great, Hunter.
Your great uncle, and he's 93 and he's still kicking it. Good for him. So glad to hear that. Yes.
No, we don't, Romeo's lover. It
What's
was
that?
just dad or mom when Shawn spoke about his parents.
I had conversations, and they lived in Baltimore. He grew up in Baltimore. And then he became. Okay, I'll talk about that, Justin, in a second.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
Heidi.
Justin Earlywine. Thank you, Heidi, for being with us too. Alec Rosati, thank you to be able to be here. Very unfortunate news. Anytime you lose a close person, like I said before. So, surgery, there'll be a surgical procedure done where they are using a robotic device to go in through the side of my body, in between the ribs, continue to get around the lung, lobe of the lung, the right lobe, obviously, on the right side, and then also fish. Well, the heart's more over here, central left, so I guess they don't really get that close to the heart, because to get to the heart, they have to go past the breastbone. And under the breastbone is where this thing is. It's a organ that was supposed to regulate calcium, and it's going crazy. It's got a tumor growing on it, and that's what makes it go crazy. It'll be removed from me. It'll be taken to a lab. They will assay it for its hormone level, parathyroid hormone level, as it's called. They will probably also look for cancer in the tissue of the tumor. I didn't know about that actually, hon, but you know that sometimes
I figured.
is part of it too.
I figured. Well, the thing
Isn't
is,
that
before
great?
they even start, once he goes back, before they start the surgery, once he gets in the operating room, it's like a 45-minute prep before he even goes under. And the surgery itself
He
is
said it
about,
2 hours, didn't he say?
I think the actual surgery is a little less than that. The prep is like at least
I know.
45
So you
minutes.
think it's like a little less than 2 hours to do the surgery?
Yeah, but then it's like wrapping it up and being back. He told, I'm looking at 6 hours without seeing you.
From going in to prep to to coming out of
So
recovery.
going into recovery.
Yeah.
Who knows how long you'll be in recovery.
So
And you go into ICU for recovery. Once you come out of recovery, you're in ICU.
so tomorrow afternoon, if you think about it, I would appreciate your prayers.
Haven't
Or
found one, Loopsy.
feel free to do them early if you'd want. So I'll be at the mercy of what happens. It'll be out of my control. It'll be, I hope the surgeons and all the people who tend to me work in great form, accurately, and that everything comes out well. I hope so. That would be a comfort, actually, to have Shawn's spirit there as well. Maybe while I'm unconscious, we can have a chat. Or, like I said, maybe I'll try to get him to talk to me during a ghost listening session sometime. That's ghost hunting, but all it is you sit around and you listen. And then maybe you say things and then you stop and maybe you use other gadgets to try to get them to go beep, beep, beep and light up. And make sure you put your phone in airplane mode when you were doing that because the beep, beep, beepers may beep, beep, beep just because your cell phone got a new message sent to it. You're welcome. So, anything else? I don't think so. I think I've dragged this on for all we need. All of you who loved Shawn, cared about Shawn, I send comfort and I hope that you all are helped by the Holy Spirit, as I hope it helps Darlene and I to get over this loss. And thank you for prayers to make sure I have a successful surgery. And then also, you're praying for my mom. Don't forget to also consider maybe adding Darlene in there for strength so that she deals with the two of us without going crazy.
I'm already crazy.
Crazier. That she doesn't get even more crazy. Oh, yeah, I'm still doing them. I have a couple of locations with footage from last 6 months, and I have to deal with
Thank
both
you,
of them.
Loopsy. And pray for Belle.
And then I have two other locations with so many files, innumerable files, that I keep putting it off. Investigations on those going back to the year 2000, 2019. So, but yes, I'm definitely doing this series, Another Odd Place, under my playlists. That's the where you would go and see
That's right,
my
Cranky Bunny.
my existing episodes, and more will come. Well, thank you all. You all are great. You make us so happy. We were lonely during the shutdown, and you kept us company, and we've stayed together since. Thank you so much.
Stop.
And if you haven't done so, please watch my latest video, Out with Rick, episode 1. we're shopping, just like the old days, with the friend who kicked me away.
God.
So until later this week, we'll let you know what the status is on the show, and even let you know the status on how I did. And hopefully, everything will be great. But your prayers will help ensure it. So thank you all. Have a great afternoon, rest of your week. Take care of yourselves. Don't let the hustle, bustle, and stress of life get you down.
Up.
Look for a way each day to relax and not just going to sleep. Love you all. What do you want to say?
Remember, smiles are contagious.
Smiles are contagious.
Smile at somebody you see in the store, you're going to get one back.
Smile.
99% of the time.
Smile so much they think you're crazy.
That's what I do.
That's what I do all the time.
And when somebody gives me a finger driving down the road, I thank them.
I just give them a wave.
No, you give them a wave like this. Right?
Oh, a wave like that? Yeah.
Way to go.
I do it like this. Jerk off, motherfucker.
Good, I hope you do.
Don't do what I just said. Smoke a nice big bowl now. I'm going to try to relight this. Talk to you later, folks.
Good night, guys.
Love you all.
Love ya.
Peace and, was it love and light and peace.